Hey Bloomerinos, we're getting ready to make our latest wreath kit, and this one is lush. We're talking about lush, beautiful Christmas greenery with the most adorable ribbons because we're talking that natural look. Look at these Christmas greeneries we're going to be using here. The cutest ribbons, including this one with a stitch, that one with the jute, and then this really neat scalloped and beautiful green color. It's so perfect. And just to add that little bit of Christmas whimsy, that nice little touch, we are going to be adding some bells that have got that rustic vintage look. So you're going to love this combo. I think you're going to enjoy the process of making this for yourself. So get in here and watch this video. We're going to have fun. So let me show you what's coming in the kit. It's starting off, we got a 12-inch wreath base. And this one is a grapevine, and that's going to be our base we're going to build it on. Then let's talk about our greeneries. We've got this real touch. It's a cedar. It's a mix of cedars and a little bit of pine. It's really, really nice, and it lays flat on the back, so you don't have all that excess weight. It's really nice, and it gives you that nice flowing feel. Then we've got a pine that it's really poofy or really cool. This one we're going to use to give depth to that piece. So we're going to be mixing those together. Then we have 3 different ribbons. This one has a stitch on the edge, and that one really cute. Then we've got our basic burlap in the lighter color, and the creme de la creme. This one is so pretty. It is a jute. You know, I love this stuff, but it's wired, and it has a scalloped edge. So the combination of all those together is really, really fun. We're going to make the best bow. All right. So let's get in here and let's get started. So grab your cedars that come in your kit. And by the way, if you're wanting to grab this kit, just drop that in the comments right here, and we'll tell you where you can find it, if it's still available, all that stuff, you guys. It's FOMO around here. If you see it, you better get it because this stuff is gone. First of all, kind of deciding on my length. So I'm going to take this piece of cedar, and we're going to kind of decide how far I want this to come off our design. I like it right about here, so I'm going to cut this down a little and we'll put it in. Now, you're going to need your own wire cutters, and you're going to need your own hot glue, of course. I'm using an electric skillet with the hot glue, and I like to use Spanish moss to cover my glue and help put things securely in my wreath. So when I push this in, I'm kind of bringing it down, starting with that right there. So I've got my Spanish moss just right here, and I'm going to tuck it in right there to hide that. That looks great. So that's my first piece kind of cascading down. And in design school, we always set our perimeter first, and what that means, we're working on the outside of our design in. And I'm going to do that over here too, because I know I'm going to want one of these over here, kind of flowing down. And I think we'll leave this part of the wreath open. So think about that too. You want that to be a section that looks half decent. Sometimes wreaths are a little wonky, but that's okay. We can always use them. We just kind of rotate them around to use the prettier parts showing and hide the pieces that are a little bit crazy. And now, just like we do with our bodies, right? If it's a little crazy, we're gonna drape something over it or do something if we feel like we're looking a little crazy. Same thing here. So I'm going to bring this piece to the top. So those are working opposite right now. And then I'm going to come in with a little bit of moss to hide my glue again. And be careful, don't get burnt. All right, I want that to kind of sag down a little bit more. So the neat thing about all of our florals is they're going to have a nice strong wire. And the pieces you get in this kit are set up just like that for success. So let's cut down this pine bush right here. And I'm going to do that all the way around. Are you ready? Here, introduce some great music. So we cut that into that. All right, now I'm going to bring this one in, and we're going to start to layer it in so we make this feel like it's a continuous flowing piece. Kind of work backwards. And I'm going to put these in. These are going to give you a little bit of depth and layer it up, okay? Now, if you're just a beginner You can build this by just sticking everything in, lay it flat on a table, just get started. And then as you get a little more experience, you can glue it while you're going. But when you're just beginning, I can just start by putting it all in and totally not gluing it to start with. Okay, so I can feel comfortable with my placement. So I've got 3 down here, and be careful, don't get burnt. Come around the curve, and we're sticking with our flow that we created earlier. That looks good. Be careful coming out the back. That piece I put in, it just came out the back, so I want to redo that. Yeah, these look so good together. Let me show you how good they're looking. Look at that. Look at that. I know. We got a good vibe going. Okay, I'm going to come back a little bit more here. And I'm going to still keep these going up and these going down over here. We like to choose a direction and stick with it. All right, that looks excellent. So now we're ready to grab our other 2 cedar sprays. I'm going to bring those in next, right here. And we're going to lay those into the little areas we just created, okay? They're going to lay in perfectly. Y'all stick with me, because I got the good stuff in here. I got the good stuff. I'll hook you up for success. All right. Let's bring this one to the bottom. We're gonna lay it right in there where we just talked about. Yep, I'm gonna give that a little bit of a curve. We want it to flow into there. And now it's created a little bit of depth by putting that pine underneath. Here comes my moss. We're going to cover that. Let's go on the top side. Same thing up here. I'm going to bend it a little bit so it kind of cups like this, and that'll give you more depth. So without adding a bunch of greenery underneath and having that real heaviness, we are creating the same look with a little bit of less there. Oh yeah. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, moss. So I just take my moss, I just take a little pinch off like this, okay? I just pinched it out, and then I just take and ball it into like a little ball. That's all I'm doing. And then I take the ball and push it into the glue or push it into a crack, and it just kind of helps sandwich that all in and hold together. Okay, I love it so far. Okay, I'm grabbing bush number 2. We're gonna cut these. You know, while I'm cutting these greenery up to continue with the video, I want to make sure you realize how much we appreciate you being here and watching this video and hanging out with us and allowing me to be your local flower pusher and your creative friend, because without you, we can't do what we do. Without you watching the video, interacting, liking, following, subscribing, sharing with a friend, all of that stuff keeps us around and allows me to continue to do this. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for doing that for us. And please do that for all your creative people you like and content creators. It keeps their content getting pushed out to more people by your interacting and, just giving us hearts or likes. Just coming in and being a part of our community is so important, not just for me, but for anybody you like online and enjoy their content. So make sure you're taking the time to do that. It gives back to them. And of course, if you can spend money with any of those people, that's the icing on top. The cherry, it is even better. So keep that in mind and always remember we're thankful for you. So let's get in here and start adding these in. Now I want a little bit more here around the center. So some of these we're going to need to cut just a little bit shorter when we put them in. So I'm going to do that right here. And I'm going to put this on the left. Put this one on the right. Kind of have these going down still here. I love that. It's really pretty. I'm going to kind of tilt this a little bit more. And then let's have this one layer on top. And then what we're going to do is crisscross them up here on the top. And I'm going to have this go on the right and this on the left. And they're going to go on either side. And this is going to be our, what we call our bow zone, where our bow is going to go in a little bit. So I keep playing with these, making sure this one I want to go down a little deeper. You got to go a little deeper. Okay, you got to get in there a little deeper, buddy. So sometimes you just got to cut it off and re-glue it. Don't worry about that. Okay, I love this flow. It's looking really good. Now I'm going to extend the line up higher with my last cedar spray, and that's going to make it just a little more full up here. So I'm going to take and make sure we get some movement on these. Let's come right up into here. And see how I kind of made this thicker up here where it's going to cascade down. Now, with our other pieces, I'm going to go right beside it, kind of filling in this hole right in here. Yes, looking great. Let's go right here. And when I step back and I'm looking at it, what I'm trying to do is check my line, my outside line. I'm watching that and I'm making sure that this has got the movement I want it to have. It does, it does. I love it. All right, how about one more right coming in between those two layers here. Okay, guess what? It's gonna be bow time. And we made the bow on another video. So we're gonna be putting it in next. It is really fun. It's asymmetrical. We have more loops on the top and less on the bottom. And the fun thing is we are gonna be adding our bells right in our bow. I'm gonna leave the jute just hanging right off of them. And we're gonna put these in next. I really want these to cascade down. So I'm gonna think about this flow. I'm gonna bring that over a little bit because I want them to cascade down on top of my greenery. So I like that. And I am going to take and I'll cable tie this part right here. This is also where the bow is gonna go in a little bit so you aren't gonna see it. So you can use wire, cable tie. I'm pushing it into the back and bringing it up. There it goes. So I'm going to put this on first. And I have them hanging where like two are lower, one is higher. Now, I love these hanging, but I don't want them to be wild, crazy out on my door. So I'm going to give you a little trick. First thing I'm going to do is cut off these loops because we don't need it to be a full-on garland. So we're just going to cut that off. Cut the loops off. And then we're going to just take a little bit of wire and tie these, not where they look tied back, but I've got some brown wire. We were saving this off of another project. So we're just going to attach these, and we want it to look like it's hanging. So I don't want to mess with it too much. The hanger is going to be right over here, and these are going to hang down. So the hanger on this wreath will be right about there. So I'm going to take these and just gently tie them back a little bit. Don't suck them down. Just keep them from flying everywhere. With a little bit of brown wire. Okay. Don't worry too much because we're going to hide it in just a second. We got a little magical hiding technique here. And that's just keeping these from flying everywhere. So they're still going to jingle. They're still going to move. But when somebody's opening their front door, they're not going to be banging them while they got their groceries in their hands and they're trying to get in, right? They're going to just be tucked away here. All right, this one we can let go, but we got these two tied in. Now, what I want you to do is there's some little fake pine cones on here, and just steal a couple that aren't going to be really shown. And I'm going to glue those on. Just right on top of my little wires so we don't see a thing. I just glued it on right there. And you can do that as much as necessary. Over here, I've got a piece of pine covering, so I don't have to do anything. And that's fine there. Okay, I said it's bow time, so let's get that bow in. Here comes the bow. And I'm gonna put this right in here. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty already. I love it. We're not even done. I'm gonna let it's gonna tie kind of in at an angle because I want the this part of the bow with more loops up at the top. Okay, so I'm gonna go right through where my cable tie is here. Let's get it tight. Perfect. And I'm gonna cut that cable tie off. Now, before you get too far, we gotta organize the tails with the bells. That green is perfect in there. And I love this stitch ribbon. That is cute. So these are going to go over here. Just kind of cascade down. And there's our bells kind of popping in and out of everybody. Doesn't that look great? Isn't it great? I love it. Now, let's take a minute and go ahead and get our rest of our pine in. And I like to use that in around the bow, okay? And check for any holes you might have. But this one is that natural vibe. And I think these look beautiful. I'm just coming in between each one of these with a little bit more of this. So the bow is more integrated all together. Let me bring this, it's mixed in there. I'm gonna bring this from below. So if it's from the bottom of the bow, you're going down. If it's from the top of the bow, you're going up, okay? Let's go over here. These look fantastic. Okay, now I'm gonna just go in and check my lines and see where else I need to add any to fill in. But this wreath is gonna last you so many years. And the only thing it doesn't have is that fresh pine smell, but you could get that. You can get the scent sickles and add them in there. Oh my gosh, that looks good. Let me go a little bit lower here. Wow. Wow. And you're going to get full rolls of ribbon in the kit. So you could even make a couple smaller of these if you wanted to get a smaller base. But isn't this gorgeous? Listen to the jingle. I think it turned out beautiful. And I can't wait for you to try one just like this. Grab the kit, put kit here in the comments, and we will show you how to make this step by step.